Hey, good afternoon. Hello. TikTok, what's going on? YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm Brian Manning, and I'm an asylum lawyer. My law firm, we're based in Texas. We're called Political Asylum Lawyers. So we're in Texas, but we help immigrants all over the United States to secure their future in America through asylum. This is the Asylum Answer Show, where I'm going to answer your questions about asylum. All right, we got Salbut says, sorry for the mispronunciation, says hello on YouTube. What do we got? Hey, TikTok, what's up? Elio, what's up? Jakey Star, John, hey guys, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Love to hear where you guys are at. You can start leaving your questions down in the comments. But first, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I want to hear where you guys are at. And I'm going to start answering your questions. Hey, El Hajj says, hey, what's up? How are you? Where are you guys at? Where are you watching from today? Think about what questions you want to ask and let me know in the comments. El Hajj is from Canada, is in Canada. He says, hello from Canada. Listen, man, I shouldn't say man. Listen, El Hajj, I'm talking about U.S. asylum law here, okay? Not Canadian. They're probably similar in a lot of ways, in most ways. But there will be very important differences, so you should talk with a Canadian-based asylum lawyer if you're interested in seeking asylum in Canada. Musa says, Brian, hello, I'm from Tennessee. Nice to see you from Tennessee, Musa. Thanks for being with us. One segundo. All right. Hello. Let's talk. Nice. All right, before we get started, hello. No problem. All right. So we just got started on TikTok, and I'm Brian Manning for everyone who just joined. I'm an asylum lawyer. My law firm helps immigrants all over the United States to secure their future in America through asylum. We're talking about asylum today. So let me know what questions you have. 2 people in Tennessee. Grace Falls, Oregon is also in Tennessee. All right. So before we get into your questions, listen, I want to say a couple words about this topic. And the question is, can you really win asylum without any evidence? You'll see immigration lawyers saying this on social media. And the answer is, yeah, you can actually. You can win asylum with 0 evidence. Okay. Here's the thing. Listen. Evidence is good and helpful. If you can get evidence that backs up what you're saying, you should get it. But you can win without it. Listen, as long as your testimony, what you actually say on the day of your asylum interview or your immigration court hearing, as long as what you say is detailed, consistent, and plausible, then you can win asylum without evidence. Detailed means, well, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? It means that, you're able to talk with some specificity and some real detail about the things that have happened to you or about the things that you're afraid will happen to you and about the fact that you possess one of the protected characteristics under U.S. asylum. You got to talk in detail about that stuff. You can't just be vague and speak in generalities. And the second thing is consistent, right? You have to be consistent, meaning you can't have discrepancies, things that sort of contradict each other in what you're saying or between what you're saying and in your written application materials or any evidence that you provide. You want to avoid inconsistencies. And the third thing is plausible. Your testimony has to be plausible. What does that mean? Well, it means it has to be like something that actually could happen, a thing that is possible to happen. It doesn't have to be likely. Has to be possible. When I was an asylum officer with the government, when they were teaching us this about detailed, consistent, and plausible, for the plausibility element, they were like, like if someone says, space aliens came down and abducted me and that's part of their story, well, that statement would not be plausible. It's just something that can't happen. But they stressed that even though something sounds a little weird or a little outlandish, a little unlikely, that doesn't mean that it can't happen. Therefore, it doesn't mean that it's implausible. All right, so you can win asylum based just on your testimony without any kind of documentary evidence, as long as your testimony is detailed, consistent, and plausible. At the asylum office, I think it's, I see it fairly often. When I was an asylum officer at the Houston Asylum Office, I did see fairly often that people would win asylum without really any evidence. I think it's much less likely to happen in immigration court. Immigration judges just tend to be stricter in this sense. Listen, they're not really stricter overall in the sense of, whether they're going to give you asylum or not, because the approval rates are actually higher in immigration court than they are at the asylum offices. But I do think judges tend to be more strict when it comes to this issue of evidence. Like, they want to see evidence, and they're less likely to grant you asylum if you don't have evidence, or if you only have a tiny bit of not great evidence, okay? But at the asylum office, it's pretty routine, actually, I would say, that people are granted asylum without any evidence. The takeaway here is this. You should definitely don't be that person who says, well, I'm afraid of being harmed in my country, but I'm not going to apply because I don't have good evidence to back it up. People do this all the time, and then they don't apply, or they don't apply on time during their first year in the United States, and then they have to deal with the 1-year filing deadline because they're like, oh, I don't have good evidence to back up what I'm saying. I shouldn't apply, therefore. That's not how it works. If you're afraid of being harmed in your country, you should apply. You should talk with an asylum lawyer first, in my opinion. But don't let the fact that you don't have great evidence keep you from applying for asylum, because it is possible to win without evidence. All right. That is what I wanted to say. Let's go. All right. What else we got? Who we got here? What questions we got? Let's see what's going on over on TikTok. Nice. When should you apply to renew your work permit? Good. That's from Natty12214. The question is, at what point should you apply to renew your work permit that's based on your pending asylum case? And the answer is, you should do this 6 months before your existing work permit is about to expire. Okay. Listen, it's taking the government a long time to adjudicate, to make a decision on these renewals. First-time applicants, when you're doing this first time based on your pending asylum case, it's super fast. It's usually like a month to 2 months. But when you go to renew, it's taking a long time, like over a year. There was a while there where it was taking 1.5 years. So you do want to go ahead and get your place in line by applying as early as possible. And USCIS says like 6 months is the earliest that you should be applying. 6 months before your current work permit is about to expire is the earliest that they want you to be applying. So that's what I recommend that you do. The good news, work permits based on asylum, pending asylum, are now valid for 5 years. So you won't have to be doing this every 2 years anymore, only once every 5 years. Hopefully you win asylum before then, right? That's how that works. All right. What else? Let's go over to YouTube, see what's going on YouTube. All right. World News says, hello, sir. Can asylum be based only on family reunification? Okay, thanks for the question, World News. The question is, what's the interplay between asylum cases and family reunification? Well, to start, listen, whether you win asylum or not really doesn't have anything to do with your family situation or the fact that your family is abroad or here. Family reunification does not play into whether you're going to win your asylum case or not. But let me just touch on how it works with regard to families. If your family is here, your spouse and your children who are under 21 years old and who are not married, they can be included in your asylum application. And when you win asylum, they get asylee status too. If they're abroad, outside of the United States, when you get asylum, you can do a petition called a Form I-730 to bring them to the United States on the basis of your asylee status, okay? That takes a while. It's taking well over a year recently. So you want to start that process as soon as possible after winning asylum, all right? Thank you for the question, and hope that helps. All right, let's go back over to TikTok. Nice. Okay. Cool. Right. Okay. New York City with love, says Yankee from New York City with love. Nice. The greatest city in the world, as they say in the musical Hamilton. I love New York City. It's truly one of the world's great cities. Listen, if you want to talk about your asylum case, you should get in touch with us. We want to talk with you in what we call an asylum strategy session. This is where we're going to look carefully at your situation. One of our asylum professionals is going to see what's going on, analyze your situation, and we're going to tell you whether we think we can help you. And if so, we're going to tell you how. We're going to tell you exactly what we would do, the concrete steps that we would take to try to give you the best possible chance to win your case so you can secure your future in America through asylum. And listen, the best way to do that, the best way to get on our schedule to get in to talk with us is go to winasylum.com. That URL, that webpage is winasylum.com. So it's WINASYLUM.com. That's where you can schedule this consultation, and it's super quick and easy. On your mobile, you can do it in like 2 minutes to get set up for this consultation. All right. We want to talk with you. We want to see what's going on and see if we can help you to secure your future in America through asylum. So listen, I hope you'll do it. Okay. All right. Nice. Very interesting. Iowa acceptance rate. So listen, the question is this: what's the asylum approval rate for people living in the state of Iowa? There's no asylum office in Iowa, and I'm pretty sure there's no immigration court too. The asylum office that's going to cover your case if you're with USCIS and an affirmative case is Chicago. And that asylum office has a pretty high approval rate. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. I think it's in the 40 percentile, something like that, which may sound low because it's less than 50%. It might not be that high. It might be in the 30s. But I can tell you this, at least it's a lot higher than a lot of other asylum offices. It's among the higher ones. So you're in good shape if it's an affirmative asylum case. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna Google and check EOIR Immigration Court, Iowa. Let's see. Administrative control. Omaha, Nebraska. Your court is going to be in Omaha, Nebraska. That has a very low approval rate. That's very unfortunate. Omaha has one of the lowest approval rates, in fact, in the whole country. So that's not good. Sorry to tell you that. Yeah, good luck. All right. Let's see. We got, after I get my mental health, TSD says, after I get my mental health documents and submit to the USCIS, what should I expect? TSD, what do you mean? Do you mean, are you talking about a humanitarian expedite request where your case is pending and you're thinking about asking them to speed it up based on the fact that you've got this, this mental health challenge? Or are you talking about what happens after you apply for asylum? Let me know. I'm going to address this. I'm going to address the first one first, but if I got it wrong, let me know. So the question is, if you make a humanitarian expedite request to USCIS, asking them to speed up your interview because of some kind of challenge that you or a family member is facing, how long is it going to take them to respond and give you an answer? Well, there's no real set timeline for this. It varies from office to office, and even within a given asylum office, it varies from applicant to applicant. So there's no way to give you a straightforward answer. Listen, we've seen asylum offices reply to this kind of thing and give an answer in as short as a week. But sometimes it's much longer. Sometimes it's several weeks. Sometimes it's a month or more. I would say that probably on average, we're talking about something like maybe 3 or 4 weeks, maybe on average, because we've submitted quite a few of these on behalf of our clients. So I can tell you we have a fairly large sample size, right? But listen, you should think about suing the government if your case has been pending for multiple years. Do a mandamus lawsuit because that is what works. All right. So that follow-up question, yeah, nice. Okay, so we've got, hey, Sarah. Sarah, did you have your consultation today? I think you told me that you got scheduled for today, didn't you? Let me know. Gustavo says, hey, Brian, my wife let her employment authorization expire. We renewed it a year after the expiration, and now she's been waiting for 16 months and still no answer and even recommendation on what to do. So the question is, what can you do if you've applied to renew your work permit that's based on your pending asylum case and it's taking a very long time. And in this case, the person asking the question said, they had actually let their previous EAD work permit expire, and then they applied like a year later after the expiration to renew. Well, first of all, the fact that you let it expire doesn't have anything to do with the delay now, the time that it's taking now. Those are unrelated. All right. So, but the question then becomes, what can you do? Because it takes a long time, right? For a while, it was averaging about 18 months to get a renewal of your work permit based on your pending asylum case. And honestly, I don't have any advice apart from if there are some kind of circumstances affecting you that you can present as an urgent humanitarian concern. You can ask USCIS to expedite the process based on that. You should write a letter about it, explaining it, and provide any evidence about this hardship and how getting the work permit would help your life. Okay. It's rare though to get that approved. The chances for success of them speeding it up on that basis are very low, because for renewals, it's taking pretty much everyone, a month, a year and a half, or some long period of time like that. So chances for success in expediting the work permit renewal are very low. I would say even lower than expediting your asylum interview date, unfortunately. Right. All right. How long does it take to get TPS approval? It's almost 5 months. Online application shows. The question is, how long is it going to take to get an answer on your TPS application? We're talking about temporary protected status, and the answer is there's no way to know or predict this. Listen, we filed a bunch of TPS applications for clients, and it was completely random, it seemed, in terms of how long it would take. It seemed like some of them got done as quickly as a couple of months. Some of them were well over a year. I would say the majority were almost a year, or like a year or even more. So unfortunately, there's no way to predict it, but yeah, it could be a very long time before you get your TPS approval. Now, remember, you can apply for a work permit based on your TPS application even before your TPS gets approved. You can submit a work permit application and indicate that you're doing it based on a TPS case that you've applied for, and they can actually grant that. Sometimes they do that much faster than they actually grant the TPS. Okay. All right. So keep that in mind. All right. Let's see what we got. Yankee in New York City. Nice. Adam Z says, what's the correct answer when the officer asks you or tells you, I know bad things happened to you in the past, but why do you believe you're still at risk? Good question. So the question is, what can you say to the officer when they say to you something like, listen, I know some bad things happened to you in the past, but like that was a long time ago. Why do you think you're still at risk now? After all this time, why would someone still want to hurt you now if you had to go back to your country? So yeah, you'll get a question along these lines. They might not frame it in that way to sort of imply that they don't believe that you're at risk, but you will definitely get a version for sure of the question, why do you think you're at risk in the future? What makes you think someone's going to harm you? What can you point to that indicates that you're at harm? How do you answer that? Well, with the truth. Listen, always be truthful, okay? Be open and honest and truthful, but you need to think ahead of time very carefully about concrete facts, about things that people have said to you that indicate they want to harm you, or about any other circumstances that indicate that, yeah, you're at real risk. Think about this ahead of time and give concrete facts that indicate that you're still at risk, okay? Yankee says, thank you, sweetheart. You're very welcome. Listen, if you want to get in touch with us, we'd love to talk with you. Go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com. Do it right now. There's really no need to wait. You can go right now and get set up with an asylum strategy session where one of our asylum professionals is going to see what's going on, ask you a lot of questions, get to know you a little bit, see if we think we can help you. And if so, we're going to tell you how. We're going to tell you exactly what we would do to try to help you raise your chances for success, give you the best possible chance of securing your future in America through asylum. That's what we want to do. All right. If you prefer not to do this online, to book online, you can call us. The number is 713-909-0401. Again, that telephone number is 713-909-0401. Give us a call, set up your consultation right now. Do it right now. All right. Okay. Let's go to TikTok. Let's see. Yosem says, our asylum is pending for 5 years. So you're asking, like, what can you do? Before I address that, user 123456789 says, how much is a consultation? Good question. And then we'll go back to after that Yosem's question about, or issue about being pending for 5 years. So the question is, how much does a consultation with my law firm cost? And the answer is nothing. Listen, we used to charge a little under $200 for this. Most law firms charge for their consultations. We decided to stop doing that, at least for a while. It's kind of a test. We might go back to charging, but right now, at the moment that I'm making this video, it's free. We're not charging anything, all right? It's your opportunity to talk with one of our asylum professionals about your case and see if we can help you to increase your chances for success so you can secure your future in America through asylum. It's free right now, so take advantage of that. Listen, when you call or if you go online to winasylum.com, we do ask for a credit card. It basically reserves your spot. We're not going to charge it as long as you show up. So if you show up, it's free. If you ghost us, if you sign up, but then you don't cancel and you just don't show up, we will charge your credit card $100. All right? It's our way of, just sort of protecting ourselves from getting a bunch of people who aren't really serious about it. And then they just like, I don't think I'm going to go to that consultation. Listen, your time is valuable. So is ours. We got to protect our time. And our mission is to help as many immigrants as possible secure their future in America through asylum. So we have to be careful, and we really got to prioritize talking with people who are serious, people who are motivated and serious about getting the best help possible to give themselves the best chance possible to win their case. That's why we require the credit card. Again, it's free right now, but we do require that you give a credit or debit card that works, and we sort of put it on hold, but we do not charge it as long as you show up for your consultation, whether that's by video conference or telephone. All right? That's how that works. So let's go to Yosem's question on TikTok. Our asylum is pending for 5 years. So listen, the question is, what can you do if your asylum case has been pending for several years? You've been waiting for that interview at a USCIS asylum office for several years. In this case, the person's been waiting 5 years. What are your options? Listen, you can ask the asylum office for your interview. You can do what's called an ombudsman's request, where you're asking this person, this office in the Department of Homeland Security, to look into it and see if they can move it forward. You can ask a member of Congress that represents your district to have their office check with USCIS and say, hey, could you maybe look at this and move it forward? But listen, none of those work. Those don't work. They don't work. I say this with the experience of a former asylum officer. All right. I was a U.S. asylum officer. Now I'm a U.S. asylum lawyer. And these things don't work. What works? Suing the government. It's called a mandamus lawsuit. It is a powerful tool to get your interview scheduled and get your decision fast. It works, and we love it, and our clients love it. All right? Listen, if you want to talk about that with us, I want you to go to winasylum.com. Yosem, go to winasylum.com and schedule that asylum strategy session now so we can see what's going on, see if we think we can help you, and tell you more about the mandamus lawsuit. And just generally what we might be able to do to support you in your asylum case. All right. It's easy. It's quick to schedule this. Just go to winasylum.com and you can get set up in like a minute or two with one of our asylum professionals. Moral says, how long does it take the NVC, which is National Visa Center, to forward the I-730 to the U.S. Embassy in general? Good question. So the question is, how long does it usually take the National Visa Center to send an approved I-730 out to the U.S. Embassy or consulate that needs to get it so that they can process your dependent, your loved one, your family member, your spouse or your child overseas, so that they can be coming to the United States as an asylee on your asylee status after you've won asylum? So yeah, kind of convoluted, kind of tricky. But listen, the answer is, it's usually fast. It's usually fast that once your I-730 is approved, that it gets sent out to the embassy or consulate. Like I would say, usually it's a matter of weeks. And then the embassy or consulate sends instructions about like what your family member needs to do, and they set an appointment for them to come into the embassy or consulate for the appointment so they can do the processing that will give them the documents they need to travel to the United States and join you in the capacity of an asylee once they are admitted into the country. That's how that works. It's pretty fast. All right. We've got on TikTok. I applied for asylum after 14 years of being in the U.S. What are my chances? Good question. Thank you. Question is, what are your chances for asylum success if you apply for asylum way outside of the 1 year filing deadline? In this case, the person applied 14 years after they came here. So do you have a chance at winning, or are you definitely going to be out of luck and in trouble because of the 1 year filing deadline? Well, listen, the answer is people have won after being here for several years. There's two main categories of exceptions to the 1 year filing deadline. One of them is called extraordinary circumstances. And this often helps like students who have been here in F1 status, maybe for several years, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9 years studying. As long as they've kept their status and haven't lost it or violated it, then they'll be okay. They'll qualify for an extraordinary circumstance. The other thing is changed circumstances. This is probably the more likely of the two to help someone who's been here 14 years. That's where something changes in your country or in your personal circumstances that now you're at risk in a way that you were not before. You should talk with an asylum lawyer. This is tricky. We want to analyze it. Call us. Okay. It's like you have a chance. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe after we talk with you, we'll tell you, no, listen, we think you have virtually no chance. But we might think you have a chance after we talk through it with you and see what's going on, get to know you, get to know the circumstances of your situation, right? And we do that in an asylum strategy session, which you can book at winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com. All right. Okay. Nojim Ogunle, sorry for mispronunciation, says, thanks for your advice. Asylum approved. That's great. Congratulations. You won asylum? That's awesome. Nothing gives me more joy than coming on here and seeing when people say things like, hey, Brian, I watched your videos, I watched your tutorials, your trainings on YouTube, and it really helped me and I won my asylum case. Like that, I think that's what you're saying. Nojim, tell us more. How did we help you? What did you watch? Tell us a little bit more. And when did you win your asylum case? Awesome. Congratulations. And thank you for mentioning this. By the way, TikTok, go to YouTube. All right. I mean, YouTube is where I have my best stuff. Listen, if you go to YouTube and you search for political asylum lawyers, you're going to find playlists, including one that says like full length asylum trainings. That is all my best stuff. It's like some really detailed trainings about all the asylum topics that you need to really understand if you want to give yourself the best possible chance for success. All right. All right. Good question. Haven says, hey, Brian, I submitted my application through my previous lawyer. If I hire you, will you draft a written statement, a legal brief for me? Is the written statement the same as a personal declaration? Good questions. Let's talk about it. The question is, when we talk about a written personal statement or a personal statement and a declaration, is all that the same thing? Yes, those are all the same. Those are just synonyms that different lawyers use. In fact, even in my law firm, we sometimes use those interchangeably. Usually in the context of an affirmative asylum application, we refer to it as a personal statement. But yeah, it's your written sort of statement explaining your case. Now, the other question was, if you've already applied for asylum with a previous lawyer and then you come to my law firm and hire us, are we going to do a new written statement? Well, it depends. If you already did one, we might. If you did not do one, yes, we will work on it. We won't do it for you, but we'll work on it together. It'll be your document, but we'll advise you on it. If you already submitted one, we're going to read it really carefully. We're going to ask you tons of questions about it and get all of your answers before we decide whether we think you should supplement it with an additional one. That's a difficult decision, tricky decision that we can only make after reviewing everything. Okay. For sure, yeah, we're going to do a legal brief for you. All right. When someone comes to hire us after having already applied for asylum, whether it was with a lawyer or without a lawyer, we do what's called an asylum road map. That's the first part of the development of the case. So, then I guess the next question is this. What is the asylum roadmap that we do for our clients to help them set the stage for success at their asylum interview. It's this. It consists of 3 things. It's basically a packet that we're going to send into the asylum office to show the officer before you ever set foot in their office for your interview how you qualify for asylum, how you meet all of the requirements, all right? It consists of 3 things. A declaration from you that it's going to be your story told in your words. We're going to help you. We're going to advise you. But at the end of the day, it's going to be yours. And then the second element is evidence. Even if you already submitted evidence in the past, we're going to make a list of additional evidence that we think you should get because there will be more, okay? And then the third thing is a legal brief where we connect the dots. We show the officer how you meet the requirements, right? And we cite country conditions information and we include that as well. So those 3 things, written statement, evidence, brief, is how we're going to lay the groundwork for success in your asylum case and show the officer how to get to the answer yes in the easiest way possible in your asylum case. Okay? That's what we want to do for you. That's what we do for people. All right? That's what we do for people. All right. So Tasha says, or no, sorry, wait, who was that? Can you invite your family from home country if you win an asylum case? Says Binky Ventures. Good question. The question is, if you win asylum, can you then petition for family members in your home country to come to the United States on the basis of your new immigration status? And the answer is only your spouse and any children. Those children have to have been under 21 at the time that you applied for asylum. Not right now when you're trying to bring them here. At the time that you applied for asylum, they have to have been under age 21. And they have to right now, be unmarried. Those are the only people that you can petition for. You do this by way of what's called Form I-730. It's a form you submit to USCIS. They adjudicate it. It takes a while to actually bring these people here. Well over a year in most cases. Now, those are the only people. Unfortunately, you cannot petition to bring your parents. You can't bring siblings. You can't bring anyone else. It's just your spouse and your children who were under 21 when you applied for asylum and are still single, meaning unmarried. That's who you can bring, okay? All right. Nice. Oh, good question. User 1 through 9 says, do you accept out-of-state clients? Good question. Before I address that, I just want to say, listen, I want to talk with you guys. There's a lot of interest, in right now in asylum, and a lot of people are feeling the urgency of either applying now or trying to move their case forward as quickly as possible ahead of these elections. If Donald Trump wins the presidency, I do think it's going to be harder to win asylum after that. So now is the time, right? Now is the time to either apply, or if you've already applied, it's the time to consider taking action to force your case, to move your case forward, okay? So if you want to do that, you can call us if you want to get started and see what we think about whether we can help you. And then what I want you to do is I want you to just call 713-909-0401, all right? Call 713-909-0401 to schedule a consultation, schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can see if we can help you and maybe get started. All right. The question was, do you accept out-of-state clients? So yeah, the question, does my law firm accept clients from out of state? That's the question. And yeah, so we're based in Texas, right? And the answer is, yeah, we do. Absolutely. We have clients all over the country, lots in Texas, because that's where we are, right? But lots and lots in California, lots in Florida, lots in New York, lots around Chicago, lots around Atlanta, North Carolina, South Carolina, everywhere in between. All right. So yeah, listen, here's a beautiful thing about immigration law. The way that our laws work, a lawyer can help you with your immigration case anywhere in the country as long as that lawyer is a licensed lawyer in any of the states. If they're licensed in any state, they can help you in every state. That's kind of unique to, there's just a few areas of law, like federal law, where that's the case. And so you're not limited to whoever's in your state. You're lucky in that sense. You can do a nationwide search to find the best possible help to give you the best possible chance of winning your case so you can secure your future in America through asylum. So yeah, give us a call for sure. Give us a call. Nice. Okay. Let's go back to YouTube. See what's going on at YouTube. Okay, so the question from Moo Point is, what's the disadvantage of getting advanced parole? A lot of people say they might not let you come back to the country while I'm pending asylum. Is that true? The question is, are you taking a risk? If you travel abroad while your asylum case is pending and you've got advanced parole, is it possible they might not let you back in? Listen, it's possible. Anytime you leave the United States and you're not a US citizen, there's like some risk of not being let back in. But I tend to think that that risk is very low for people who do get this advanced parole and they travel abroad while their asylum case is pending. As long as you don't go back to your home country. If you do go back to your home country, that's a different thing. And you might have trouble. You're likely going to have trouble when you come back. They might try and they might put you in deportation proceedings right away. So but as long as you don't go back to your country, I don't think the risk is that great. You don't want to be gone long. I would say don't be gone more than like 10 days because you don't want to miss an interview appointment notice. If they schedule your interview, you want to be here for that. All right. But I think it's okay. All right. Good question. Haven's asking about, it says, the asylum package alone with the original copies of evidence were submitted by my previous lawyer to USCIS 7 years ago. I don't really recall what the evidence was. Will they give me a copy? So good question. So the question is, how can you find out what's in your asylum file? Listen, if you applied for asylum a while ago, or even if you did it recently and you just didn't keep a copy of, those documents that you submitted, you do need to know what you submitted, right? And your lawyer, if you hire a lawyer, we need to know what's in the government's records. The good news is this is pretty easy to do. We do what's called a Freedom of Information Act request. This is the first step that we do with all of our clients who have already applied for asylum. We want to see what's in the record, all right? Because it matters for us in our analysis and how we build the case and how we prepare you. So we do what's called a Freedom of Information Act request, and the government sends us a copy in PDF format. Usually it's like 3 to 6 weeks that it takes them to do that. So that's the answer, is you do a FOIA, they say, for FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request, and you'll get a copy of your whole immigration file. All right? That's what we do. All right. Nice. Sarah says, is it possible to change the lawyer for my case? Thanks for asking, Sarah. The question is, can you change lawyers in the middle of your asylum case? Yes. Both at USCIS with the asylum office and for cases that are pending in immigration court, you can change lawyers whenever you want to. With USCIS, it's super easy. You don't have to do anything at all. The lawyer you sign the form G28 that says, hey, I want Brian to be my lawyer. And then we fill it out and sign it, the rest of it, and we send it in to USCIS. And from that moment forward, they consider us to be your new lawyers, or whoever does it, right? It's as simple as that. It's super easy. For immigration court, you have to do a little more process. You have to jump through some hoops. You have to send a motion to change the lawyer on record. But it's easy. We get a 2-sentence statement from you saying, hey, my old lawyer is X. I want Brian to be my new lawyer. You sign it. We send a motion where we're saying, hey, we want to become the lawyer on this case. And the judge approves it. And we're your lawyer then. So yeah, for sure. And we have lots of clients who, started out with one lawyer and they just decided that, listen, that person maybe wasn't the best person to give them the best possible chance of winning your case. This is important, right? We're talking about your future. We're talking about your safety and security. We're talking about your ability to stay here, stay safe, and to build the life here that you've dreamed of building. So the stakes are high. It's important. Don't stay with a lawyer that you're not happy with, that you think, isn't the best person to get you where you want to go and achieve your immigration goals. Okay. So yeah, we have tons of clients who, started out with another lawyer, but then they're like, you know what? For this case, for asylum, it seems like Brian's law firm is the way to go. All right. Docus D says, what's the phone number? He missed the middle 3 numbers. No problem. Our phone number is 713-909-0401. Again, 713-909-0401. And if you missed that, don't worry. Just pop over to the profile on YouTube and Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. If you just go to like the profile page, it should be near the top, the phone number, okay? But really the best way to get in touch with us, to schedule the consultation, is to go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com, winasylum.com. That's where you can just super quickly and easily schedule an asylum strategy session with one of our asylum professionals so that we can get to know you, talk about your situation, tell you whether we think we can help you. And if we think that we might be able to help you, then listen, we're going to tell you how. This is something that is not ideal about a lot of asylum lawyers or immigration lawyers, is that they won't give the client information about like a strategy or a path or a route forward. They're just like, oh yeah, we'll help you. Yeah, I think we can make a case out of it. Don't worry. That's not good enough. You need a plan. You need a strategy. All right. We'll tell you, based on your unique circumstances in your case, what our asylum action plan is. That's a thing that we have, an asylum action plan for our clients, where we methodically, strategically assess the case and then decide on the route that we're going to take to give them the strongest case possible, to give them the best possible chance to win asylum. All right. World News says, do you take consultations from people abroad? No, we don't actually. We don't actually do consultations with people who are abroad. We got to sort of prioritize and reserve those spots for people that are in the United States. Okay. All right. Okay. Very nice. Nojim said she won asylum in May 2024. Congratulations. Nojim said, I watched all your all your videos on YouTube, and it was really helpful. Thanks once again. So thank you, Nojim, for pointing that out, that you watched our YouTube videos and it helped you to win your asylum case, you thought. So that's awesome. Listen, TikTok, go to YouTube, okay? Go to YouTube and search for political asylum lawyers. Facebook, go to YouTube, search for political asylum lawyers, subscribe there, go to the playlists tab, and you're going to find some really detailed trainings. Of course, I'm doing YouTube videos all the time about sort of more current events, things that are relevant and what's going on in asylum. But also I've got some really detailed training videos. Like, honestly, one of them is like 3 hours long, which is a little long. Sorry about that. But there's a lot of them that are not that long, but they're still really detailed that I think are really going to help you go into your interview or your asylum court hearing with confidence and ready to do a good job in explaining your case. Okay. Tim Park says, how successful do you think LGBTQ plus cases are in California? Good question. The question is, what are the chances for success for an LGBTQ plus based asylum case in the state of California? Well, listen, what matters more than California is where you're from and what your personal experiences have been. Members of what USCIS calls sexual minorities, LGBTQ plus community members, those cases can be really strong, but it's not just as simple as being like, oh, you're a member of that community. Yeah, you'll probably win. Or, oh, you are a member and you're in California. Oh yeah, you have an X% chance of winning. It's not that easy. All right. We need to know a lot more about where you're from and your personal experiences to be able to tell you with more confidence whether we think you have like a high, medium, or low chance for success in your asylum case. We have a lot of these cases. We've handled a lot of these cases successfully. I'm passionate about helping the LGBTQ plus community to win asylum. All right. So listen, Tim, if you haven't talked with us yet, go over to winasylum.com. Okay. I want to see you on our calendar in a few minutes when I'm done here. Pop over there right now to winasylum.com and schedule a consultation now. Do it right now. All right. So we can get started learning about your case and maybe see if we can help you. All right. All right. That is it for today. Yeah. Great questions. Really good questions. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for all your questions, your engagement, your interest. I love it all. I'm Brian Manning, and my law firm is called Political Asylum Lawyers. We're based in Texas, but listen, we help people all over the country. It doesn't matter where you live. in the United States, we might be able to help you. So if you want help or you think you might want help, give us a call. Or better yet, go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com. And I'll see you next time that we go live on the Asylum Answers show. Thanks so much. And everyone, thank you. And stay safe. And listen, it's an honor, really, it's an honor to support you in your